Welcome to Agent of Laughter. Each week, we bring you powerful conversations with authors, entrepreneurs, and everyday heroes who've turned challenge into joy and mindset into success. Here's your host, the Agent of Laughter himself, Ramin.
Welcome to Agent of Laughter. This is Ramin, the Agent of Laughter. We talk about positive mindset and spread the joy one story at a time. Today's guest is Charles Nicholas from Chesney and Nicholas Law Firm, and they are leaders on Long Island, New York, with over 40 years of excellence. And my friend. Hello, Charles. How are you today?
I'm good, Ramin. So nice to see you.
Nice to meet you today. You know, my podcast is all about happiness and good mood. The first thing is, what does make you happy in your life?
What makes me happy? Well, I think we have events in our life that can make us happy or make us not so happy, things that we judge as good and judge as bad, and that's just part of the life journey. But I would say that what makes me more happy in a deeper way is the part of me that maybe doesn't judge what comes about as something that other people might judge as good or bad. I just am grateful to be alive, grateful to have air in my lungs, grateful to have good friends and good family. And so gratitude is a big thing for me.
Yeah, gratitude. We always have to be thankful for what we have.
I think that is certainly a great source of a deeper happiness when we can look at the things that we have. Many people, including myself, take for granted the things that we have. But there are so many people in the world that don't have the things that we have. It could be as simple as I woke up this morning and I got out of bed and I've got air in my lungs, I got eyes to see, I got legs to walk, and those are all things to be very grateful about. And I find that gratitude does bring me a great deal of happiness.
Yes, you know, somebody told me if you have roof on your head and the water running, you are 1% of the world. You're top 1%. So gratitude is very important.
You know, think about it. We live better today. Let's say, so to speak, the common man lives better today than kings and queens of 500, 600 years ago.
Yes.
Because of the things that we take for granted. We have a roof over our head. We have running water. We have a shower. We have a toilet. We have food that's readily available within 10 minutes or less.
We have lives.
And we have life. But so I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
And when you meet other people who can appreciate life the way you do, that just brings you greater happiness. That sharing of the gratitude, sharing of, quite frankly, seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Yes, I always says choose your surrounding very carefully, so you don't have negative energy around you.
No question about it. And not that we can't be sympathetic to people who get a little too caught up in this life journey and place absolute importance on things that maybe if they took a step back, they would see as only relatively important. We could have sympathy for those people, because I've had sympathy for myself when I've gotten caught up in that regard. And when we do take the step back and we go into that part of us, that deeper part of us that again doesn't judge things so quickly as good or bad, that part of us that's more wondrous, that part of us that's less resisting to the things in life that appear before us. You know, when we can do that, that's what brings me a more deeper joy.
Yeah, I always says connect to people that are smarter than you, so you can learn something every day.
No question that's That's a gift. It's a gift, but that comes with being wondrous and being open, because you and I both know, because we have people that we've spoken to that don't pause in terms of, and that's okay, we listen to them, but they're not really interested in learning anything else. And you are someone who I've known for many years, and you display that wonder in a greater way than most people I know. You listen before you speak. You want to learn, and when you do learn something new, it's a surprise and it's a gift. But if we're always just espousing what we know to be true today, and we don't give space or room to learn anything, well, then I think we live a very narrow life. So I congratulate you for being a person who is very expansionary in that regard.
We know each other more than a decade.
I was reflecting upon that recently, and I can't believe it's been that long.
How your family and friends inspire you.
They inspire me by showing me things that maybe I didn't see, and by pointing out if I'm in a certain way or a certain mindset, and they can say things to maybe shake that up a little bit. That makes me see something from a different point of view or a different paradigm. And at first, maybe oh no, I got that. No, you don't have that. You're hearing something new here. And when you do, to me, that's always surprising and always a gift. So they inspire me by bringing things into my life that maybe I haven't seen, or I haven't seen in a while, and they remind me.
I love that. Very nice. What is your routine every day? How do you like to start your day?
I usually get up in the morning, and because of the business I'm in, I don't really like to go right to the phone. But because of the business I'm in, I do get messages that I have to attend to that day. I probably should put it off, but when I get up, I check my messages. I don't spend too much time on that. Get out of bed. Uh, well, first I do a little breathing and stretching in bed just to get the day started. Then I get out of bed. I make my bed, the usual stuff, you know, go downstairs, pour myself a glass of water, squeeze a little lemon into it. That kind of cleanses the system, gets things moving. And then I think about a little, putting together a little breakfast to start my day.
I know you're very active. You like hiking and alternative sport.
As I told other people, and I have other people have told me, I find that I can't go too long without not being in an ocean swimming, or being in the forest, and being in nature. Some people not have no interest in that. I find that experience brings to me a great deal of balance and joy. I'll get on my bicycle and I'll ride my bicycle around the neighborhood, and like that childhood wonder and joy comes back to me just by riding my bicycle. But I love bicycle riding. I love paddle boarding. I love swimming in the ocean. I love hiking in the woods. And I can't stay away from those things, because when I do, I get off balance.
Connect to nature is a gift. That's so important. Every day I wake up, I walk around my house, I feed the birds around my house, and that's the first thing I do. I connect to nature, and that's very important.
Well, think about that act. It's a simple act. You're connecting with an animal, you're nurturing an animal, you're getting feedback from that animal. I mean, that's just a great exchange of energy and love. And what a great way to start your day and to balance yourself for the day. People look at those things, and they sometimes dismiss those things, but I can't help but feel better once I get into nature, and when I leave it, that experience resonates with me. I think I've read studies about how it lowers your heart rate and your pulse, and it being in nature boosts your immune system. So clearly there's a benefit there, and something that I think naturally that we're drawn to.
Yeah, also, diet is very important. I know you're very big on your diet, and that's what I do also. We have this in common.
Yes, I was gonna say you've taught me great things in that regard. You know, we both know we've had this conversation before, how we really like to, as best we can, eat organic. We do our best to shop locally, CSAs, community supported agriculture, because those are the people we know that grow the vegetables and we know what they put into it. Um, we buy organic products. We reduce as much as we can the plastics. You and I are very big on that. You know, we both live a very full life, but at the same time, we try to live a life where we don't tread too heavily on this earth. I live in a neighborhood where I see people all the time throwing things out, and I scratch my head because that thing that they're throwing out can have another existence
Yes.
other than a landfill. I do my best to sound silly, but I have my truck. I pick things up. I bring them to the thrift store, and we try to give it another life. And just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you have the right to disproportionately put things into a landfill more so than the next person. I
You
think
know,
we all have a
you,
responsibility.
you have respect to the nature, and simple things is very important. Simple things always make you happy. If you do a small act every day, make someone happy, or make respect to the nature and your surrounding, and that's the so important. That's not a small thing. That's huge.
It's huge in the sense that it just really pays off in terms of how I could just say personally how I feel, and I know you feel. I know when you pay attention to the people around you, strike up conversations, kind to nature and this earth. I know that fulfills you. It fulfills me too. We've talked about this many times. And it's just the way I want to live my life.
What is your code or passage you live by? What is your favorite code?
I would say that the thing that's become most important to me is to do my best not to immediately judge a situation, to try to be open, because that's what we do. We see things and we immediately go into judgment. That's good, that's bad. And I've heard it be said that all experience is sacred and all experience teaches us something. So I do my best to refrain from judging a situation. Like I've said before, I think that wonder is a very good antidote for truly understanding something. Because something that you're judging as bad, you could look back retrospectively and say, well, that may have been the best thing that happened to me. It's okay to have an intention to, you know, to have sway over your life. I want to do this, I want to do that, have those intentions and be consistent with those intentions and pay attention and take affirmative steps toward the things you want in life. But I would say that when we try to wrap our hands around the conclusions of things, sometimes that will create suffering. In other words, we have to be open to leaving room for divinity, for a divine spark, because maybe we're not heading in the right direction. So if we're wondrous about things, we're open about things, I think that will give us great personal power and make us feel better and happier.
Yes, 100%. If you have open mind, that's going to affect you and your surrounding. And like you said, you never judge someone so quickly, and respect everyone.
Yes, I mean it's one thing to say because we do have this earthbound journey, and I think we're leading both an earthbound journey and a spiritual journey simultaneously. But I think it's one thing to say, I wouldn't do it that way. Look at someone who's doing something and say, well, I wouldn't do that. That's perfectly fine. That's not judging, you know. But if that person is doing something which you may consider to be detrimental to themselves or others, that's their path. As long as, of course, it's not immediately interfering or hurting you, then I try to be open about other people's choices, even if I feel like sometimes their choices are going to be um, not the best thing for them or the best thing for the world.
If you choose a superpower, what do you like to choose?
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you a quick story. It's a Buddhist story. When the doshashis, um, the religious people were surrounding when the Buddha was born,
Yes.
and and they said to the father, who was a king, and they said, your son has two paths. One path is that he could rule over the four corners of this earth. And he said, and then they said to him, but he also has another path, and that path is he can rule over his own soul. And the father said, only a fool would give up ruling over the four corners of the earth. And that's when he tried to confine Siddhartha, who became the Buddha, to try to uh, make sure he didn't see the world. He wanted to direct him in the direction of being a king that rules over the earth. But the Buddha at some point chose to rule over his own soul. So if I had a superpower, I guess a superpower would be to rule over my own soul, which I'm trying to do.
Yes, that's a huge thing. That's peaceful. You have to be peaceful inside always,
Yes.
and don't let anybody distract you from what you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
So make sure there's no distraction in your life.
To be true to yourself,
Yeah.
certainly. Um, yeah, no question about it.
What is your goal? Let's say next 10 years. How do you see yourself in next 10 or 20 years?
That's a very good question. Um, I could see myself fortifying and strengthening the firm I'm in because we have a lot of employees and the employees depend upon the work here, and we do a lot of good work. It's very important to us, and also it's very important to us is a good work-life balance. So I want to fortify and strengthen and grow the firm, no question about it. Um, but in my personal life, I want to continue to see what is relatively important and what's absolutely important. And sometimes we make the mistake of seeing things as being absolutely important when they're not. And so if I could continue seeing the truth in that regard, that would make me happier as well.
Just to be happy.
It's funny if you ask somebody, so what do you want to do? Well, I want to go out and get a job. Well, why? Because I want to make a lot of money. Well, because why? Because I want to buy a house. Because I want to buy a car. Well, okay. So what happens after all that? And if you keep going down the road, they say, I want to be happy. And so the goal of everybody is, of course, to be happy. And the way you get there is through some of the things we've talked about today. But that ultimately is goal because you can have all these things and not be happy. you know. So that is that is the that is the goal, so to speak. But I think that happiness is inside of us already. I think
Yeah.
all we have to do, we don't have to look for events to make us happy. I think we're naturally good and naturally happy. And I think sometimes, many times, the mind gets in the way and causes us to see things that may not really be there and maybe distortions, or perhaps we have some people in our life that are troublesome to us. and it's hard to navigate around those people, whether it be in business or personal life. And that's where friends and family come in, people you trust to talk to about those things, to help you navigate those things. Because if you could be forgiving, if you could overlook things, especially the small things. You know, we get together with friends, they talk about this person did this person did that. And the more you get caught up in what I consider to be the small things, the more you're giving out the energy to the universe. Give me more small things. The more you're about the big things, then you're going to get big things. And I notice these are all things that you're very good at.
Smarting is very important. Let's say I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee. That's make me start my day positive note and make me happy. And I think that's your decision to be happy. I always make a decision to be in good mood, to start my day in good mood. So nothing around me can affect negative energy on my day.
I know a lot of people have said that, and you've told me that before about how, and that's certainly an effective thing, and I've done it many times, to just decide to let go of all the petty things and to just be so, again, getting back to being grateful. So getting up and even just saying to yourself, I'm gonna be in a happy mood. Sometimes my mother says I slap my hands and I say, snap out of it and be happy and be joyous and look at the things around you, look at the miracles around you. And just a reminder to get back on track, so to speak. Not that it's that we don't as human beings feel sadness. And we don't have problems in our life. We do, but it depends how much we feed those things and how we can maneuver around them, and how much we honestly resist things. I think that the more we resist things, the more unhappy we can be, especially if we resist something that we can't do anything about. If we have a circumstance where we're faced with something, and let's say it's something that requires us to respond to, or to make a choice about, or to just have a response to it. If we resist the thing that we're encountering, then we've put another layer of suffering onto what the situation is. But if we just accept what's happening, let's say we accept it, then if it does require a response, then our response is going to be a very effective response, a response that's going to be supported by divinity and by the universe. So it's a matter of becoming not so quickly to judge the situation, becoming one with the situation. And once we become one with the situation, if the situation requires a response, it will be one that's very effective.
Yeah, we welcome positive energy on our lives, and like I always say, we have to choose our surrounding. So there's going to be no negative energy.
Yeah, I mean, again, there are times when there are things that happen, of course. We came here to experience every emotion, came here to experience happiness and joy, but we came here to experience other things like sadness and regret. But again, it gets back to, I don't think I would resist any of those things, but it gets back into which ones are you going to continue to feed. But, something that's negative can be bringing us to a place we need to go to, so we can come back into another area. So I wouldn't resist it. I would accept it, and then I would effectuate change. But first, you have to accept it.
I love that. Like you said, we don't have to feed the negative energy. That's very important. I love that.
Because we both know that there are times, I'm sure, in your life and in my life and many people's lives, where we did feed the negative energy. We did feed, and let's say we're feeling a negative feeling, and that creates thoughts. And those thoughts sometimes could be true, sometimes they could be just fears of the future. And then that creates more negative emotions. And then it's like a loop, just keeps circling. And you want to break that loop. And so if we don't resist what we're feeling, but we don't necessarily put stories to it, then anything that we're feeling negatively, if we just again become one with the situation, I believe that creates like an opening, like a vastness to the situation. Then all of a sudden, I believe, or it's happened to me, things become a little bit lighter.
Yes.
And when they become lighter, then we find our way. But there's lessons to be learned in light and in darkness. And I wouldn't judge learning that lesson in either way. Be nice if we could learn all of our lessons through the light. That would be really wonderful. But nevertheless, we're being divinely led. We're being led to our highest selves. We have to keep that in mind. So I wouldn't necessarily shut down or resist feeling a little down sometimes, or again, came here to experience it all. We came here to experience jealousy, came here to experience envy, but those are things I don't think we were meant to stay in those things.
Yes. Yes.
Those things are temporary manifestations, just like a happiness that comes from an event. An event is a temporary situation. But the joy that you and I talk about has nothing to do with the ups and downs of the world. There's nothing to do with that duality. It's a deeper joy.
That's insight.
Exactly. You've said this so many times. It comes from, I'll tell you the perfect example is when you laugh. People laugh. I see them laugh. When you laugh, it comes from the deepest place inside of you. It's like the laugh of the big belly Buddha. You are laughing from your core, and you are laughing from that deeper place inside of you that doesn't look at things as this is good, this is bad. And it's like it gives you a different perspective, a different paradigm on this world. And that's when you're thrilled about this world.
Thank you so much.
Well, I've learned that from you.
You inspire me. We know each other for a long time, and we learn so much things from each other. That's a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure, my friend. Because like I said, it's not often that I'm surprised about things. That's why I try to stay open. But when I am, it's a great gift. And you've surprised me many times, the things you've said. And I've really felt some great joy by reading your books, your first book, especially. It was just, again, it touches me. So I thank you for that.
Thank you so much. We play game in my podcast. We choose a poem from my books. Today, we choose from Rules of Laughter.
Ah, wonderful.
My first book.
Yep.
Please choose page from 1 to 300.
Okay, I'm going to choose. I think my favorite one is in the 40s, but I don't have it in front of me. But I'm going to choose page 48.
48. Imperfection with love and laughter, called freedom.
Could you read that again?
Imperfection with love and laughter, called freedom.
Yes. Brilliant. Because love and laughter, people might say, well, what's the goal in life? What's people say, well, the mastery of life is about controlling everything in my life. But that's so not about what life is. In fact, that's what causes suffering. People think the mastery of life is about control, but it's not. The mastery of life, I believe, is about true freedom, which is exactly what you just said right there. And you have freedom when you could feel that deeper joy inside of yourself and see the wonders of the world. Then you're truly free.
Fear doesn't exist. It's all in your imagination, Fear doesn't exist.
Yeah, like there's the fear that which is very helpful. You're about to cross the street, a car's coming, you're afraid, and that makes you run away. That's a good thing. But I think the fear you're talking about is if all of a sudden you're in your home and everything is fine, but you're overthinking 5% scenarios, 10% scenarios, or even like a real scenario that you think could possibly happen, but it hasn't happened yet. It's a fear of the future. That's the illusion. Because why? That's not happening. Doesn't mean you don't address something that's real. But when you're fearful and trying to solve a problem that hasn't occurred yet, boy, that's a definition of suffering. And that is an illusion. That kind of future fearful thinking is an illusion.
We talk about love today. How do you define love in one sentence?
You ask these very tough questions. Oh boy, one sentence. There's different types of love. There's family love, there's father, son, father, daughter love, mother, and then there's romantic love. I think this has been my experience. When we feel good about ourselves, when we have balance within ourselves, then it's easier for us to love because we are at rest, we're at peace.
Love.
It's so easy for us to share our love.
Yes.
But when we are not good, people tend to isolate, and because it's hard for them to open their heart when let me put it this way, that they're not even loving themselves. So I guess love, the way I would define it would be total acceptance. Total acceptance, not taking abuse, but total acceptance. Not having boundaries, but total acceptance of how somebody else wants to live their life. At the same time, making sure that you put up the boundaries that you need to put up, but at the same time, allowance, acceptance.
You respect.
Yes.
You respect someone else. That's less love.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, allowing, even if you feel like, allowing for that person to see their own path, see things for themselves. That's the best thing we can do for our children. The best thing we do for our children is to love and support them.
Of course.
The opposite of that would be becoming the helicopter parent, trying to remove obstacles from their life, trying to, too much, not letting them grow up, not letting them become adults. So it's sort of like an allowance. Let people do what they want. At the same time, obviously, if people get too much into your business and you have to draw a boundary and you have to push back, but be careful when that, you should know when that happens. A lot of people, sometimes that's confusing to them. That's when, again, they should reach out to family and friends. But I have no agenda to change people. I think everybody is really kind of exactly where they need to be, and let life be their greatest, let life be their teacher. Somebody asks me for help, of course I'll help them, but I'm not going to, interfere in people's lives. I'll let people, again, let life be their teacher. The greatest teacher in the world is life.
Yes. That's respect.
That's right.
That's respect. Thank you.
Respect other people's journeys. Some people come to
Yes.
and some people come to this earth to learn things in a very dark manner and a repeatedly dark manner for year after year, decade after decade. And that's just what they've chosen, consciously or unconsciously.
That's decision. That's the decision.
That's their decision.
You cannot change that.
I mean, if they ask for help, you could give advice, but really it's their decision. And I've noticed there's not much you could do if someone's on that path. Somebody's on that path, again, let life be their teacher. We don't have to teach them because really they're not seeing things. And it has to come to it probably has to come down to a self-discovery.
That's a vision. Yes.
It's a vision. Yeah, it's it's their earthbound journey. And some people have come here and they suffer a great deal. You know, look, we're all gonna grow older and we're gonna have pain and we're gonna die. And that may sound depressing, but it also gives us a little kick in the butt to find out why we came here.
Yes.
You know, we often talk about how in the end people want to be happy, but if people don't have purpose, they're not going to be happy. So find, like, look at you are fully engaged in your purpose. You are spreading wisdom to people. You're showing them a way out of their mental suffering.
Thank you.
You're opening a door and saying, look at this miraculous world. Let me come, you're extending a hand upward or sideways to them and saying, come with me, join me. And that's your purpose. And you living your purpose is very instrumental in making you happy. This gives you your happiness because you are living your soul mission, so to speak.
Yes, if I make someone happy, if someone read my book and they decide that make them happy, that's my joy. That's my, like you said, that's my purpose in life.
I've seen that warm your heart on more than one occasion. I've seen you brighten up, and I see your heart just like resonates and when people read what you've written, listen to the things you say, you get joy out of bringing joy to people's lives. And I truly believe that is your soul mission. And the beautiful thing is, you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Thank you.
And you are living your soul mission. I congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
And I ask you to please continue.
That means a lot. Thank you very much.
I'm in awe to see it.
Thank you.
And I know the people around you, I won't mention names, that love you, and they are in awe of it too.
I do my best, like I said.
You can put it that way, but I happen to personally know through a number of people that you have lessened suffering in their lives and brought them great joy. And that is what a gift that is.
Let me tell you something. You always, when we meet, you bring joy in my life. Always is a pleasure to meet you. Always pleasure to know you for so long, and we learn so many things with each other and together.
100%. I couldn't have said it better. And I know we're not going to live forever, but I'd like to live forever and continue our deep friendship.
Always pleasure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charles, for this great conversation. Can you please mention your law firm? How people can contact you?
Absolutely. Chesney, Nicholas, and Brower. We're about 15 attorneys. We're located here in Syosset, New York. And our number is 516-509-7770. They can call anytime for a number of different areas of law. We're happy to, they can talk to me directly, and we're happy to talk to them about the issues they have. And I appreciate you mentioning that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure. Thank you for great conversation today. I enjoyed this a lot, and see you soon.
Absolutely. I mean, pleasure. Love you.
Love you.
Take care, buddy.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Agent of Laughter. Please make sure to subscribe to the show and visit rulesoflaughter.com to check out Ramin's full collection of books. Until next time, keep laughing.